Hello students, let us proceed with the study of chapter number 10, Magnetic Fields due to Electric Current. In this chapter, we are going to study how a current carrying system produces magnetic field in the surrounding medium. Previously, we have seen that the charges at rest, they produce electric field in the surrounding medium. Similarly, charges in motion, they produce magnetic field in the surrounding medium. Oersted first discovered that magnetic field is produced by a current carrying wire. To begin with the mathematical formulation for the same, let us consider Biot-Savart law, which is the very basic law to determine such a magnetic field. The law gives the magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying element. The net magnetic field at that point can be obtained by superposition of these differential magnetic fields. Let us study the law in details. As shown in the figure, consider a current carrying wire of arbitrary shape carrying a current I. The wire can be assumed to be divided into number of small elements of length dl. Let us consider one such element, and to find the magnetic field at a point P, which is situated at a distance r from this element, so that r bar is the position vector of the point P with center of the current element as the origin. The law states that the magnetic field at the point P is directly proportional to the current flowing through the element, length of the element, and sine of the angle between dl bar and r bar, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two. Here, dl bar is a vector which has the direction same as that of current flow, and r bar is the position vector of point P. If you convert that proportionality into equality, we will need to insert some constant of proportionality, which is taken to be mu0 upon 4 pi, where mu0 is called as the permeability of the free space, and for the factor 4 pi takes care of the 3D geometry. Hence, the expression for Biot-Savart law is dB is equal to mu0 upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square, which gives the differential magnetic field at point P due to that small element dl in scalar form. If we need to express the law in vector form, it can be written as dB bar is equal to mu0 upon 4 pi I dl bar cross r bar upon r cube. Applications of Biot-Savart law. The law can be used to determine the magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying conductor of certain fixed shape. To obtain the magnetic field at the center of a circular current carrying loop, let us first obtain the magnetic field at the center of a circular arc. As shown in the figure, consider a circular arc AB of a wire of radius r carrying current I. The arc is assumed to be divided into number of small elements. Each of these elements makes an angle of 90 degree with the radius. According to Biot-Savart law, therefore, dB is equal to mu0 upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. The direction of each of these dB can be given by right hand rule, which states that if a current carrying conductor is held in the right hand with the thumb pointing in the direction of the current, then the fingers curled around it give the direction of the magnetic field. If we apply the right hand rule here, the direction of each of the dB due to each small element is perpendicular to the plane and directed inwards. Therefore, the total field B is equal to integral dB. Further, substituting the expression for arc length as dl is equal to r d theta and integrating, we get the expression for the magnetic field due to the entire circular arc as B is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi I theta upon r. For the circular loop as a whole, the angle theta is equal to 2 pi radian. Therefore, the expression for the magnetic field at the center of a circular current carrying loop becomes B is equal to mu 0 I upon 2r. If we have a circular coil of n number of turns, each turn will contribute the same. Therefore, the total magnetic induction B will be equal to mu 0 Ni upon twice r. The figure on the right represents magnetic field lines due to a circular loop. Any circular loop has two faces. If one face appears to carry current in the clockwise sense, then the other face appears to carry the current in anticlockwise sense. And the magnetic field lines due to a circular loop are directed from the face carrying current in the clockwise sense to the face carrying current in the anticlockwise sense, which is just similar to the magnetic field lines due to a magnetic dipole. The field lines due to a magnetic dipole are shown in the figure on the left, where the field lines are directed from the south pole to the north pole. Hence, we can say that a current carrying circular loop is equivalent to a magnetic dipole with its face carrying current in the clockwise sense equivalent to the south pole of the dipole and the other face carrying current in the anticlockwise sense equivalent to the north pole. Now let us apply Biot-Savart law to determine the magnetic field at an axial point due to a circular loop. Consider a circular loop of wire of radius big R carrying a current I situated in the xy plane with its center as the origin. We need to calculate the magnetic field at a point P on the z-axis, which is at a distance r from one of the elements of the loop. Any element dl bar will always be perpendicular to the vector r bar from the element to the point P, as the element dl bar is in the xy plane while the vector r bar is in the yz plane. Hence, according to Biot-Savart law, the magnitude of the differential magnetic induction dB is given by mu 0 upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. Also from the geometry of the figure, small r square is equal to big R square plus z square. Further, the direction of dB bar is perpendicular to the plane containing dl bar and r bar. That dB bar can be resolved into two mutually perpendicular components, one component along z-axis and the other component perpendicular to z-axis. For every element dl bar of the loop, there is a diametrically opposite counter element dl bar which will also contribute the same magnitude of magnetic induction, but its direction will be such that its component perpendicular to the z-axis will be exactly opposite to the previous one, whereas its component along z-axis will add up. Hence, by the symmetry of the figure, we can show that all the components of dB bar perpendicular to z-axis, they cancel out each other. Only the components which are along z-axis, they remain. Thus, the net magnetic induction at the axial point P can be obtained as a resultant of all the differential components along z-axis. That is, B is equal to integral dB cos theta. From figure, cos theta is equal to big R upon small r, which is equal to big R upon under root z square plus r square. Substituting the value and integrating it, we get the final expression as B is equal to mu 0 I r square upon 2 times in bracket z square plus r square raised to 3 by 2. This is the magnitude of magnetic field due to a current I in a circular loop of radius r at a point P on the z-axis of the loop. Also, previously we have seen that a circular current carrying loop is equivalent to a magnetic dipole. Further, it can be shown that the magnetic dipole moment of that circular loop is given by m bar is equal to I a bar, where a bar is a vector of magnitude equal to the area of the loop and its direction is perpendicular to the plane of the loop. If the coil has n number of turns, then the magnetic dipole moment is given by m is equal to nia. Next, application of Biot-Savart law. To determine the magnetic field due to a current carrying infinitely long straight wire, we need to calculate the field B at point P, which is at a perpendicular distance big R from the wire. Consider a current element dl of the wire situated at distance small r from the point P and at distance small l from the point O. As per Biot-Savart law, the differential magnetic field dB at point P is given by dB is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. We can assume the conductor to be divided into two equal halves with point O as the midpoint. All the elements in the upper half produce magnetic field at point P perpendicular to plane of the paper and inwards. Also, all the elements in the lower half contribute to the field in the same direction. Hence, the net magnetic field will be the addition of these two. Thus, B is equal to twice integral dB with limits of integration from 0 to infinity. From the geometry of the figure, small r is equal to under root L square plus big R square. Also, sin theta is equal to sine of pi minus theta is equal to big R upon small r, which in turn is equal to big R upon under root L square plus R square. Substituting this value and taking big R outside the integral sign as it is a constant, we get B is equal to mu 0 I r upon 2 pi integral dl upon L square plus R square raised to 3 by 2 within the limits 0 to infinity. It can be shown that this integration after evaluation comes to be 1 upon R square, which is shown in the next slide. Hence, we get the final expression for the magnetic field due to a current carrying straight long wire as mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. How to solve integral dl upon L square plus R square raised to 3 by 2 within the limits 0 to infinity. Refer to the previous figure. Let us substitute L is equal to R tan phi. Therefore, dl is equal to R sec square phi d phi. There are two printing mistakes here. Replace all theta by phi and small r by big R. With this substitution, the variable of integration is changed from dl to d phi and the limits of integration are changed from 0 to infinity as 0 to pi by 2. After this substitution, the integration can be easily evaluated as 1 upon r square.